Hi guys, so Lisa and I'm back with another video. Today I wanted to share with you the mid-year book freak out tag, a tag that I do every year. But before we get into that, let's check out my new hair. I went to the hairdresser yesterday for 5.5 hours, had a lot of it cut off, as you might be able to tell. Just a second, I need to adjust this a little bit. This is better. So I'm almost blonde now, which wasn't exactly what I was going for, but I am, like last time I had a similar thing done, the roots were a lot darker, so there was a bigger contrast between, but this time around it's just been a dark toning thing, so it's not as dark and looks a little bit more natural, but I like that there's this play in the colors and stuff, so I have to get it used to my length a little bit because it's so much shorter than before, but I am really happy with it. I mean, I like the length and it's easier to have in a bun because it doesn't get like extremely heavy and fall down, which is I had issues with my older ones. It couldn't really hold or stick or whatever. So yeah, but I have been having my hair up today, so that's why you can see like the waves here, and I've been for a training session, so my hair is wet here in the roots because I had a shower, so but I wasn't allowed to wash my hair for the next 3 days for real, so I will try not to do that. So anyway, let's get to the tag before this gets extremely long. This tag was originally created by two people. One of them is Chami, I forgot the other one's name. I'll leave both links down below, but I'm not sure if one of them exists any longer, but if they do videos, I'll still leave a link to creator's channel. So the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2020. It took a little time before I finally got into like a real like quality reading of my books. So that happened like in May, I think. I read Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and this has been my favorite so far. I just really enjoyed it. It is a book that is inspired by Mexican folklore, so it's talking about Mayan mythology, which was really interesting. I've never read anything of the like before, and it follows this girl called Cassiopeia. I'm not sure how to pronounce it really. When she accidentally sets loose an ancient demon god, death god, known as Hunkame, and starts a sort of thing. It was so well written, it was so wonderful. I just absolutely enjoyed it, and yeah, so excited to read more by Silvia Moreno Garcia now. I really love the writing style, and I hope that everything she publishes in the future will be something I really jive with. I have a feeling she's going to be a new favorite author, so definitely that. The second question is, what is the best sequel you've read this year? The best sequel I read this year was Carpe Joculum by Terry Pratchett. This is the 23rd Discworld novel, and it is the 4th or 5th in the Witches series, and this was just really amazing. I gave it 5 stars, so it's the only sequel I've given 5 stars this year, so it deserves the spot, and I happily recommend Terry Pratchett's books in general, so that shouldn't be a surprise if you are recurring on my channel. But a new release you haven't gotten to yet but really want to. I mean, I'm currently reading The City We Became, but since I'm currently reading, I'm not gonna talk about that one. I have more than these 2 books that are new releases that has come out that I'm very excited about, but these are my most excited for releases, and that is Smoke Bitten by Patricia Briggs and Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett, and I hope that I can get to these 2 books over the summer vacation. That is my aim, that I'll get through these books in July, so we'll see how that goes, because I haven't really been good at sticking to my own plans, so let's see what happens. The fourth question, which is best and most anticipated book for the second half of the year, and I don't remember when Peace Talks is coming out, but I think it's July. I don't think it has come out yet, but that is the next book in the Dresden Files universe, and I love the Dresden Files, and I've been looking forward to this book for a long time. But I'm also equally as much, if not more, excited about Hollow Pucks by Jessica Townsend, which comes out in August, and yeah, that's definitely one I'll get my pre-order a physical copy soon. I'm not sure I have done that yet, but I will. The fifth question is the biggest disappointment of the year so far, and for me that was The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood, just because I had so high expectations for this one. I was really looking forward to reading it, and I was really hoping that it would be a new kind of favorite fantasy series, but I just really didn't get into this one. I can hardly remember what was going on in this book and this series, this world, so that was highly disappointing, and I ended up giving it a 2 out of 5 stars. So yeah, that is probably the one that fits that one. The sixth book is the biggest surprise of the year. That one is definitely Sol and Gabby Breaks the Universe by Carlos Hernandez. This is one of those books that is published under the Rick Riordan Presents series line, and I think one of the reasons why I had lowered expectation for it, I mean, I thought it was going to be good because I have enjoyed other things that I have been reading from this line, but I thought it was going to be just like with Rick Riordan sort of humor and themes and stuff like that. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just that I don't want everything to be so similar. I felt that way with Aroshan Native Time, but when I read this one, it's so its own thing. It is one of my absolute favorite reads of the year. It surprised me so much. It follows this boy called Sal, who moves to this new place and starts school, and he meets Gabby, and he is able to do magic, and I'm not gonna say more because like I think one of the things is that you don't know anything about it when you go into it, because yeah, it was just so good. I think I might reread it at one point and see if I can't tap my way out of it. I don't know why I didn't do that when I was reading it, but it was just so precious, and it was heartwarming, and yeah, it was. I think I'm definitely looking forward to reading the sequel. I think it came out in June, so I'm going to have to get a copy of that very soon so I can read that. Yeah, love this one. Question number 7 is favorite new author. I don't usually typically mention an author as my favorite before I've read like a couple of books and I can actually say that I want to read all of them. But this year I don't have any new authors that I've read more than one book by, so I'm going to look at what I've been reading and what I'm feeling like I might end up being a new favorite author, and one of those is definitely Silvia Moreno Garcia, because as I said previously, I have a feeling I'm really going to be enjoying everything she comes out with, and I am so looking forward to reading Mexican Gothic. I will be buying a copy soon. I think it also came out this month actually. So this one and Sol and Gabby is my next purchases, I think, and looking forward to it. And one of my other, this was one that lived up to my expectations in terms of the writing. I had a good feeling about this author before I started it, and that is Ray Bradbury, because I read Dandelion Vine earlier and I gave it 5 stars. I really jive very well with his writing style, and I know it's not for everyone at all, but I just personally had a feeling I would like it, and I was really happy to see that my expectations were met in that regards, and I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy more or less everything he has written, but and he has such a big catalog, so I'm looking forward to discovering more, and I hope that I'm right about my feelings towards his writing skills. Question number 8 is the newest fictional crush, and I've always thought this question to be annoying on my list of things to choose between, because I don't get attached to, I don't get romantic feelings towards characters. So I just No. So I never really have an answer for this one, and I don't this year either. No new fictional crushes at all. So okay, so I have question number 9 is newest favorite character. And I have a couple that I would like to mention just because, and I've already mentioned some of the books. So I'm starting with the book that I haven't talked about yet, and that is Carolyn from the Library at Montchar. Carolyn is just such an interesting character. I enjoyed so much following her. She is not a good character in that she's not a very like, she does things for her own reasons, and she's not a likable character in the sense that she's like doing everything that's like everything that she's doing is good, but she's one of the most interesting characters I've read about in this past year and for a really long time. It's just so she deserves a spot on here because it was really amazing. And another character, or this is actually 2 characters, like I just enjoyed the friendship, the bond that they had, and that was Cassiopeia and Hunkame. Both characters individually and together, I just really enjoyed them. So I will put them in this group together. But honestly, Sal from this series is so incredible. I like how he is with his family, his friends, how he is treating people around him. Like, there's so many things, and I just really enjoyed his character a lot. So question number 10 is a book that made you cry, and I have 2 books that made me cry this year. So I'm going to mention both. The first one is Sal and Gabby Breaks the Universe. Like, this one got through all of the emotions for me, and that is why it's also really high on my list. It's just, it really got under my skin in a lot of ways, and I just really highly recommend it. The other one that also really was an emotional read for me and really difficult to read in that respect was Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. It's very recently that I read this one, but I just really enjoyed it, and it was really beautifully written, and the emotional turmoil and emotional, like, all of the things that these characters had to think about and go through was. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy. A book that made you happy, and one of those books is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. This got like, I was super content and happy when I was reading this. I think that is the one that fit best with this reading experience. This is a classic for a reason, a classic middle grade story for a reason. It was published back in the 80s, and it's a middle grade book that follows this girl called Sophie, who one day is magically turned into an old lady, and she flees where the shop that she was like her mother's shop, and ends up in Howl's Moving Castle and taking up as a cleaning lady, and that is like the beginning of the story, and it's incredible in every way. It's so whimsical, and it made me so happy when I was reading it, so it fits this prompt really well. Question number 12 is the most beautiful book you've bought this year, and I don't really know because I haven't found anyone, and for me, I don't know, I haven't bought a lot of books that I just bought because of the cover and because they were beautiful and stuff like that, but I have 2 book covers that I really like the design of them. But it wasn't because of that I bought them, but I have always really enjoyed the UK editions of the Brandon Sanderson Skyward series. So Starsight is definitely pretty. I think I like the design that they have, but if they're beautiful, I don't know. Then I also really love the City We Became cover by N.K. Jemisin, just because it has different things. Like, you can see these reflections of these, what is it, like this, and over in the here, like what is growing in the city, sort of like that. So I like that it has this extra thing. So yeah, I like this cover for that, even though the font is something I don't really appreciate, but I don't know what to say about it. Question number 13 was what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And I have a lot of books in that category. I'm trying to read all of the books from the second series that I want to read, and I'm more or less on track, but I have a couple of series I'm a little bit behind on. So I hope that I can still make it. I have my big books TBR that I want to get through this year, and I really want to try and get to them, especially the fantasy ones, because I think especially Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. I have Ruin here. I've just been thinking a lot about this series, and I just really want to get to it, but I haven't been able to, and it is like 700 and something pages, but it's supposed to be like epic, and the ending should have a really big cliffhanger. The second book had a pretty big cliffhanger in the end as well, so I am really looking forward to reading it. I have the newer releases that I like to get through. So, I mean, I'm not running out of reading material, that's for sure. But I think one of my goals that I haven't mentioned in a video yet is that I would actually love to complete the Amber Chronicles this year. I am here, so I have 4 stories left in this series. If I could finish the Amber Chronicles this year, I would be so happy. But I haven't picked it up at all this year, so I don't know if it's a realistic goal, but we will see how things goes over like the summer vacation, and if I eventually pick it up and get back into the rhythm of reading it again. But I think that is it. So yeah, those are all of the questions in the mid-year book freakout tag. Let me know in the comments down below what's the best book you've read so far this year, and what books do you still need to read for this next part of the year. Are you behind on your reading? Because I feel like I am in a lot of ways. I definitely haven't been reading the things that I thought I would, and I keep finding it hard to balance out my reading. There's so many things that I really want to read, but I struggle with balancing out what to read, because I keep picking something up and I'm thinking, oh, but I should read this one book, I should be reading this one book, especially if I see a video where people talk about how much they like this book that I also have on my TBR. It's a constant struggle for me, and I also think that partly like it puts a pressure on me as a booktuber to make sure that I read like a certain amount of books and a certain amount from a specific genre and some newer releases and sort of like that, in order for me to make good enough content. And I found that really difficult this year to balance it out, because I don't know why. I think next year I'm going to try not having any like reading projects for myself and see how that goes, because this year has just been not so good so far in terms of that, but I have been reading some really good books, so it's not like I don't have anything going for me. So yeah, but this was my tag for today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.